Welcome to Real Talk with Garrett and Laura. Today we are talking about timing the real estate market.
We're going to discuss similarities and differences between the 2008 real estate crash and talk about all the different run-up in prices that we've seen this past year and figure out what could happen next in the market.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So in the Seattle area, we're seeing similarities to 2008 only in the sense that if you have a rental property, home or a condo, you're likely not getting as much rent as what the market price would justify for today. But there's such a huge demand of owner-occupied places that then, with interest rates being so low, it's still advantageous to be in a buying position right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what made last time around so bad was the low money down. Even people were getting loans with no money down, and they were also given adjustable rate mortgages. So now everything is a fixed rate, and regulations make it so there's a low chance that you can default on your loan. And also banks are doing a lot of things differently because they're not willing to, take that risk that people will default.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that's right. And it's like, of course, unfortunately, we've seen the people that are least affected from the COVID pandemic are, those high income earners, people that can work from home, and those are the likely homeowners too. People most affected by it are likely renters, but if they are homeowners, those people could be the ones that could default. But, with the, different sort of, mortgage assistance and the eviction moratorium stuff, we just haven't seen any foreclosures or anything like that, like we saw 10 years ago that really opened stuff up. But Laura, that kind of makes me wonder. It's like, what happens, or what are you hearing, if the market were to tank again?
So I get that question all the time, especially because the prices have gotten so high in Seattle. People feel like it's getting, bubbly, and like this bubble is going to pop. And I get the question, well, what if the market tanks just like it did in 2008? And honestly, I tell the story of my parents. They built a house in 2006 and they sold their house. I mean, this is the thing. If you're selling and you're buying, you want to sell when it's high, then what do? Like take a pause and rent and then try to buy once the market crashes. It's just very hard to predict that. And the reality is that you need somewhere to live. So you need somewhere to live, and you want to live somewhere comfortable, and you want to live somewhere nice. And, I did say to my dad, we were buying our house, and he said, oh my gosh, but the market is high, and, don't you want to wait? And the reality is that he says, gosh, for the last 10 years, though, now they've gotten back to where they were when they, built their house. I would have rather have lived here for the last 10 years than in our previous house. So yes, you want to think about financially the implications for sure. But when it comes down to it, if you have a really solid loan, you had 20% down, you're not, making any risky moves there. If the market crashes, you have to think about, well, where would you rather live? Your last place that you owned? Or would you rather be more comfortable in this place and maybe have it be worth a little less than you paid? You still need somewhere nice to live.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that's a great story too. It's like, okay, if you want to time it right and play both sides, then you have to guess right on, where to rent first and everything. And if you would have told me last March or April, oh yeah, don't worry, or there's no inventory right now, prices are high, let's just wait until all these homes come on the market, later in the summer and fall, that never really happened, and prices just went up. So if you would have sold this time last year and then rented, you'd be, homes are 50 grand more than what they were in the Seattle area. So, it's a calculated risk, that we missed that. And, just like your parents were talking about of buying expensive in 2006 and then, redoing their place. It's like, well, they would have rather lived in that place. So it's just a great story on, where would you rather live, and can you actually time it or not?
Yeah. Real estate, yes, it can be great financially. It can be this awesome benefit and you can time it right, but also you need a nice place to live. And, that's what we're here to do. We're here to help. And so our best advice for people is you can't time the market perfectly, but you've got to identify reasons that make it right for you. And that's our job as realtors, to have those conversations with you and weigh the pros and cons of, what it looks like to buy, what it looks like to rent, and where you might want to be.
Yeah. And regardless of timing, we always say buy the place that fits your long-term goals of either, appreciation growth in an area that you think is going to go up, or just long-term buy and hold perspective, and, in either good cash flow or make it so that it's, you're living within your means and still allows you to go travel or go do the things that are the priorities for you. So we never want to tell people, oh yeah, max out, what the bank will approve you for. It's no, okay, great, the bank will approve you for this much, but let's buy for a lower amount that then fits your monthly budget or fits the other things that you want to do to
Mhm.
make your life worth living.
Yeah. So what do you see happening right now?
hmm Yeah, I mean, great question on what's happening in the market right now is that there's just been there's been so little inventory and a little bit of a shift away from the Seattle area, but in King County, but Snohomish and Pierce and the east side of
Mhm.
King County have just seen such low inventory, which has made prices skyrocket. So especially Snohomish and Pierce are both about 50% less homes on the market this year than they were this time last year. And it's not necessarily lack of inventory, it's just they're getting gobbled up.
Yeah.
So it's just what we would say is just insatiable buyer demand of
Mhm.
any people are moving away from the city, saying, hey, yes, I maybe don't need to live South Lake Union or downtown or the stuff in Fremont where I like to go to or the stuff in Green Lake isn't open, and I need that extra work from home space. So
Yeah.
we've seen a lot of a shift away from smaller units closer into town to I need the backyard space, I need that extra space.
But a lot of that has to do with what you were saying earlier, that those high wage earners and the people that aren't struggling financially in this pandemic, they're the people that can work remotely. And so they're the ones that do need that office space. They want somewhere to go and they don't need to worry about their commute. And we're hearing from a lot of different companies in the area that I know, for example, my brother-in-law works for a company that was running out of space in downtown Seattle, and they were looking to get new floors in their building, and they realized, actually, let's just have half the people work remote forever, because why would we pay for space when we know it can work remote? So
Yeah.
things are changing and things are shifting, and that's what's happening.
Exactly right. And again, our job as realtors is to help guide you on which way we think is the right way to go. I mean, even a couple weekends ago, Laura, we're working with a client together that they're like, hey, we can only afford condos, and we're like, okay, great. And that the price that you see on Redfin and Zillow says, okay, we're approved up to 400 or 500 is kind of where we want to go. But then when we actually get into some of them, it's like, well, the monthly cost of a condo versus a townhouse make it so townhouses are actually more enjoyable for them, or will be the better fit for them on a monthly cost, and it
Hmm.
still allows them to be in some of the same neighborhood that they wanted to do, but still store their ski equipment and their other gear and to have two adults working from home.
Yeah.
So our job is to help guide you on that process and figure out which places are right for you, and
Yeah.
that's what we're here for.
And when it came down to it with them, I know we're running out of time, but when it came down to it with them, it was, you know, once you take out the HOA costs that this townhome doesn't have, it's only a couple $100 more a month, and we both have office spaces. It's like, yeah,
hmm
the townhome is the right thing. So
hmm
that's just interesting. But okay, that's all we have for timing the market. We're running out of time. Thank you guys. We're here for all your real estate needs and questions. Please reach out to us.
Yeah. Please comment or message us. We're happy to answer any questions, and we'll hear from you next time on Real Talk.
Yeah.
Bye.